Hello, welcome to another session of Shine Like a North Star. My name is Carrie Burchill, and I do these live sessions every week. Check me out to connect and learn about the work of leadership and life and everything that can entail. I am super happy to spend some time with you today to introduce some concepts that you probably have heard floating around, but maybe haven't applied them to your environment as a leader or to how the economy and the needs of the pandemic echo are really having a place in our work. So let's dive in and take a look at this stuff together. The first one I want to introduce is this concept of human centered. So we think of human resources departments. The new language that I've heard in some of the circles and leadership development work that I've done, both growing myself as a leadership consultant and coach and working with other thought leaders and people that are cutting edge in the research, is this shift to being human centered. That's different than human resources, right? Or when you think about recruiting people, this shift of the word people to humans is different. We even see it in some of the IT world. You know, there's artificial intelligence that has a human focus. So this word human comes up even in artificial intelligence ways and in the person-to-person human-centered work. So human-centered really talks about the empathy that we need to connect with people in order to be innovative. That we don't really connect through problems and through operational efficiencies, but this human connection is paramount. I was working with some leaders last night and in doing some really slow culture work. What culture work isn't slow? And one of them asked, like, how come we're not just working on operational efficiencies, basically? That was the gist of the question. And I kind of slowed down to say, gosh, we don't work on we don't have sustainable operational efficiencies until the relationships are in place so that we can be messy and innovative and try things and fail and feel safe and all that good stuff, right? The human-centered work, connecting with people, understanding their whole humanness through the lens of empathy. So just a neat terminology if you haven't used and heard of human-centered, take a look at it. I'm lucky to have a neighbor who's doing a dissertation project on human-centered thinking, specifically in kindergarten to grade 12 schools, helping kids and teachers really approach the kid work through a human-centered lens. It's really fascinating to talk with her. She's super smart. Another term you might have heard floating around is human savvy. I love this sort of sophisticated way of thinking of human resources, but really, who are the departments that are savvy in how they help humans do work, right? Human resources is a resource, right? It's a thing that you provide employees, right? Human savvy just has a much different and deeper lens when we think about the skills needed to help the humans in the areas that we serve, right? It continues with that empathy lens to be human savvy. So take a look at some of the job descriptions that you're posting. Have conversations with people about what does it mean to be human savvy to you. Like, for sure, you can do your research, but gosh, even better to have conversations. We use the word savvy, we use the word human. Like, let's not overthink this. Let's just get real with what that means to each other. Human-centered and human savvy. And then that really brings us into this concept of human skills, right? So if we are human-centered and we're human savvy in how we support people and really shrewd and practical in how we develop people, well, then what are the human skills that we're really promoting, that we want to develop in the team that we lead? So even looking at artificial intelligence, right? They're looking at the human side of how to frame up artificial intelligence, which is just interesting. When we do our leadership development, is it through the lens of human-centered thinking, through the lens of empathy, or is it more tasky? And there's for sure the tasky stuff of leadership, right? Payroll, shifts on and off, schedules. I mean, some of the work that we do as leaders is transactional for sure. The real ability to kind of pummel through those tasky things comes from the work of the human savviness, the human skills. So when we think about empathy, we also want to think about the emotional intelligence that we're building. Whoops, and I had the wrong button up that whole time, man. So empathy first keeps the person at the center. Yes, I clicked on the wrong thing. Dang it. So empathy really drives the human side of things, which keeps the person at the center, not the work that the person does, not the resources that the person needs to do the work that we want them to do. So really thinking empathy, person at the center, which ultimately is all about developing your emotional intelligence. Whew, heady work, right? I'd love to know what you're thinking through in terms of this human focus opposed to people. Love to know what your companies and your leadership teams are really working on when we think of being human savvy and developing the emotional intelligence skills that we need to be innovative, to really work the impact of the pandemic echo, right? It's not over, it's echoing. Ugh, right? Let's connect. I'd love to be a part of the work that you're doing, even just have a smart conversation with you around these concepts. So let's connect. You can find me at carrieburchill.com.